We all know that every single time the liberal media goes into an endlessly repeating news cycle trying to anoint a new saint or a liberal cause, that it is completely based on lies. So let's take some time to debunk the endless ones coming out of the Georgina Floyd situation. I'm not going to use this woman's name. I don't think anybody should be using her name because that's just going to contribute to the frame that the Democrats and the liberal media are trying to set, turning her into a martyr. So she will henceforth be called Georgina Floyd. The Washington Post captures the delusions of those on the left, claiming the ICE agent was not in the vehicle's path when he fired at the driver. Video shows. I don't even need to show you the video. We've all seen it a dozen times. But what are you going to believe? The Washington Post or your lying eyes? Or this video of the aftermath, which clearly shows that the first shot went in through the windshield when the ICE agent was, standing right in the path of the vehicle, which he reasonably believed was about to speed towards him and run him over. And I have a slightly different take than probably most others in conservative media that you've heard give their analysis of their 2 cents on this, because everybody has an opinion on this. But I actually don't think that she intended to drive over the ICE agent. I really do think that she was trying to get away. But that doesn't change the fact that it gave the impression and gave a reasonable belief to the agent that that was what she was about to do. Now, clearly she had a reckless disregard for his safety. It does look like she actually did hit him. But again, I don't think her intention was to run him over. I think she was panicking and trying to get out of there. But that doesn't change the fact that his response was warranted. Especially when you learn that that same agent was dragged and injured in a traffic stop just last year. So he's already experienced what can happen when somebody doesn't comply, when somebody is in a vehicle that can be turned into a deadly weapon in a split second. This clown from the New York Times says that their analysis of footage from 3 camera angles shows that the motorist was driving away from, not toward, a federal officer when he opened fire, which is a perfect illustration of what the Asch conformity experiments revealed, which is an experiment brilliantly done back in the 1950s, where they showed that people will usually lie or just delude themselves about their own perception in order to conform with the group so that they're not the odd man out. And so the Democrats and the liberal media have done this so that you will believe the morons who easily conform, the brainless zombies, the NPCs, will conform to what the media says happened as opposed to what their actual eyes reveal happened.
The Asch experiment is one of psychology's oldest and most popular pieces of research. A volunteer is told that he's taking part in a visual perception test. What he doesn't know is that the other participants are actors, and he's the only person taking part in the real test, which is actually about group conformity.
Please begin. The experiment you will be taking part in today involves the perception of line length. Your task will be simply to look at the line here on the left and indicate which of the 3 lines on the right is equal to it in length.
The actual subject was told that they were taking part in a vision test. Okay, so that was the guise of this entire experiment. And again, everybody else is an actor.
So, for example, if you...
The actors have been told to match the wrong lines. The volunteer will be monitored to see if he gives the correct answer or if he goes along with the opinion of the group and gives the wrong answer. In the first test, the correct answer is 2.
1. 1. 1.
Okay, these are all the actors.
It's 2.
1.
Once again, the correct answer is 2.
3.
3. 3.
3. 3.
The Asch experiment has been repeated many times, and the results have been supported again and again. We will conform to the group. Again, we're very social creatures.
Not me, not you, but we all know the typical demographic of people that he's talking about.
We're very much aware of what the people around us think. We want to be liked. We don't want to be seen to rock the boat, so we will go along with the group, even if we don't believe what people are saying. we'll still go along.
Well, again, not we, but them. Here's Adam Schiff, former congressman from California, now a prestigious senator, on television on CBS News, telling the NPCs what they must conform to.
I was struck by a few things. First of all, it's horrifying to watch. And to think about this 37-year-old woman drops her kid off at school, not involved in protest activity or anything, seems to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But at one point, she's waving other cars to come on past, trying to make sure that she's not in the way, although she's been pulled over. And then you see her trying to turn away from these officers
But first, putting one in fear of his life that he was going to get run over in a split second and appearing to hit him. Not to mention that Georgina Floyd was part of Minneapolis Ice Watch. She was an Ice Watch warrior who trained to resist the feds. You may have been wondering what kind of a woman would be involved in such stupidity, and the answer, of course, is obvious. A lesbian in her late 30s. Of course, there are countless dumb takes on this whole situation, but perhaps the dumbest comes from Congressman Eric Fartsmell, who's running for governor of California, by the way, who posted this fake video, making it appear as if he was approached by a fan, and then proceeded to give the Asch conformity narrative about what the Democrats are claiming happened.
Hey, Congressman.
What's going on, man?
What the is up with ICE murdering a woman in Minneapolis?
She has a name, right? Renee Good.
Georgina Floyd.
Looks like she was a mom of 3. And
I don't think had custody of 2 of the other kids, by the way, but that's a whole other story.
had every right to go see her kids last night. And
park in the middle of the road and obstruct federal agents? No.
Instead, she's dead.
Because she acted like a fool. This is the ultimate case of play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
And of course, this is what would happen when you have a president who surges his...
Of course, this is what happens when you have the Marxist Democrats in Congress and the Mockingbird media mouthpieces demonizing ICE as if they're Nazis taking over America. And so then, of course, the mentally ill among us feel compelled to go and try to stop them. Someone else who should be in the Guinness Book of World Records for one of the dumbest takes on this whole situation is this crazy old man who I doubt you recognize, but as soon as you hear his voice, you will know who he is. Very sad to see that Jesse Ventura has come down with stage 4 liberalism.
Freedom is not arresting people without warrants.
In America, we arrest illegal aliens and expel them because they're not supposed to be here, sir.
We have a system here. It's called a constitution.
Yes, and the Trump administration is finally applying it.
And we have a party, the Republicans, who don't seem to want to abide by the Constitution. January 6th is a prime example of that. Oh. And now they're all free and they're in charge.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's awesome.
Maybe it's time for Jesse. I only did 1 term. I'm owed a second.
Mr. Ventura, can you remind us you went to school here?
The fall of the once great Jesse Ventura really pains me. He was elected governor of Minnesota many years ago as an independent and used to call out the corruption of the Republicans and the Democrats. But now it's just the Republicans who are the problem. But sadly, he has been on this road for several years now. This was him last year.
A few years ago, I got the opportunity to see the United States elect its first black president. I didn't think that could ever happen.
It was a sad day for America.
And they even re-elected him. Well, now I'm going to be selfish again. I've only got a few elections to go. I'm 73 years old now, so the window's closing. I want to be alive to see the first woman president of the United States of America and the first woman commander-in-chief, and we've got her right now.
In case you weren't aware, this was Jesse Ventura before he became infected with whatever brainworms he obviously now has.
It was a failure of intelligence.
Talking about September 11th on CNN, nonetheless.
Everyone's accepted
No, it
that.
wasn't. We knew before with Condoleezza Rice's memo on August 6th when it stated right in the memo, bin Laden to steal planes and run them into buildings. And more stuff is coming out now also, how much the Bush administration ignored the intelligence. It was almost like they ignored it because they wanted it to happen.
Oh, come off it, Jesse.
No, not come off it. Wait a minute.
Applause.
Every war.
Notice about a quarter or 1/3 of the audience actually were agreeing with him. And back when 9/11 Truth Movement was going full steam ahead, some of the polls, which were shocking both the liberal and the conservative mainstream media, were showing that about 1/3 of Americans believed that it was, well, inside job. And because you know that I'm not afraid to punch right, I'm not going to bite my tongue when I see morons on the right doing stupid things, because I'm not trying to make friends with people in this business. I don't care about going on their podcast to promote my channel or my books. I'm much more interested in just giving you the accurate, honest information. Here is Lila Rose, who I do have a lot of respect for. She does great work in terms of anti-abortion, pro-life activism, but like everybody these days has a podcast, which is fine, but then apparently you got to fill the airtime with something, and so instead of just talking about women's issues, she had to give her 2 cents on Georgina Floyd, sounding like a complete moron.
Always Forever says, the thing is, they could have shot at the tires. They are trained to avoid killing citizens. She was trying to get away. And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
No, the officer couldn't see the tires. Okay. And even shooting at the tires is not going to stop the vehicle from hitting him when he was literally inches away from it. There needs to be less podcasters. There needs to be less people spouting off their opinion on every trending topic on social media. It's okay to not have an opinion. It's okay to not say something on social media about every trending topic or every top story for the day. Someone's podcast who is growing on me, however, is Megyn Kelly's. Not that I actually sit down and watch it, but I do enjoy watching the clips that people post online. And not because she looks like she's 35 years old, even though you're not going to believe this when I tell you. She is, guess how old she is? 55 years old. 55, I'm not kidding you. That's a whole other story. I am becoming a great admirer of hers now that she is free from the constraints of corporate media as well as Tucker for saying things like this.
And only now, Tucker, have I begun to say, like, wait a minute. How much of the narrative that is in our news today has been spoon-fed to me by people who are super pro-Israel at all costs, who won't tell the truth about Israel, no matter what it is, and will cancel you if you don't befriend or defriend people who do. And so this whole thing has made me reevaluate. Like, I'm just starting from square one, basically, on Israel right now. And I'm actually day by day taking a much harder look at who are they? What do they do? How do I find real information on what happened in this war in Gaza that I will trust? Because I do know I'm being propagandized by both sides. And how will I make up my own mind?
Well, Megyn, whatever you do, be sure not to read any of those books that Amazon quietly banned back in 2020 after pressure from a certain group of people, like The Culture of Critique by Kevin McDonald, which I did last see available on eBay or Better World Books or thriftbooks.com. Man, another title of his, which last I saw was going for $500. That's how rare it is because it too got banned. And so, oh no, some other books that you're never supposed to even mention. And certainly don't tweet to Megyn Kelly encouraging her to add these books to her recommended reading list. Or this clip of Billy Graham talking with Richard Nixon in the White House, because Richard Nixon infamously secretly recorded most of those conversations. And Billy Graham, who was, I would argue, really is indisputably, I guess, the greatest evangelist in modern history, talking about a certain group of people privately and admitting that he was afraid to say these things publicly because of the repercussions. Do I even need to play this clip again? Have you heard this clip before? If you have, it probably was only on this channel. Leave a comment down below and let me know if you've heard this clip before and where you heard it. Should I play the clip again, just in case you haven't heard it? I guess I should.
You know, I mean, I don't care how conservative. I'm sure I'm more conservative than you are. At least you told me that one time, and I think that's true. But I have to lean a little bit. You know, I go and I keep friends with Mr. Rosenthal at the New York Times and people of that sort, you know. And not all the Jews, but a lot of the Jews are great friends of mine. They swarm around me and they're friendly to me because they know that I'm friendly to Israel. But they don't know how I really feel about what they're doing to this country. And I have no power, no way to handle them. But I would stand up if you know, under proper circumstances.
Well, that certainly is interesting. And it's also interesting that you would never, ever hear this clip played on any mainstream conservative show, podcast. They would never retweet it, period. But wait, there's more.
You see, the Bible makes a distinction, Mr. President, between two groups of Jews. One is called the synagogue of Satan. There are two different kinds. There are those people, in the latter days, it's called the remnant of God's people, which will be Jewish people. And then there's the synagogue of Satan. And nearly all of your religious deceptions in the latter days, what the Bible speaks, latter days to be 1,000 years, what they call the synagogue of Satan. In other words, they are energized by a supernatural power called the devil. This is what the Bible teaches, whether you believe it or don't believe it. This is the biblical teaching, and this is what I believe. And I believe that they have a strange brilliance about them. They're smart, and they are energized, in my judgment, by a supernatural power.
Well, also they do something else. They're not smart.
And you see, of course, Hitler didn't. They had a stranglehold on Germany, on the banking of Germany, on everything in Germany, and the media. They had the whole thing, you see. But he went about it wrong. But this stranglehold has got to be broken, or this country is going to go down the drain.
You believe that?
Yes, sir.
I can't ever say it, but I believe it.
No, but if you get elected the second time, you might be able to do something.
You see, this is one of the many reasons why you should read my books if you haven't, because this was covered in detail in my latest one, The War on Conservatives. And if you enjoy watching my videos and you want to support my work, then just buy me a coffee by clicking the link in the description below. It's a much better way to support the channel than leaving a super thanks or a super chat, because YouTube takes 30% off the top right away from those. So it's a great crowdsourcing platform that people use to support their favorite creators. So again, click the link in the description below, head on over there and check it out.